Molly Sane. That's me. Okay, so today's poem meditation is: not everyone is awake when we are. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Very much all these poems are open to interpretation as to what you get from it. But for me, I see this poem very interestingly because I feel like, we're born onto this earth, and in a way we're on a journey of waking up. Babies sleep a lot, and over time they start to sleep less and they're able to be awake for a full day, but it takes a lot of time to become awake, to be able to fully be awake during the day. And then as you grow older, that becomes normal, and you almost forget about it because you're so awake to the day. And then I do think that, like the way the world works and the way that the sun and the moon work, like I live in America, and when I'm awake, my family back in Australia are asleep. And so it's interesting, even that concept of really the whole earth is always like, not everyone's awake when we are. And then I also like the idea of like you wake up to different things as you become aware, as you have an interest, as you ask questions, as you learn to explore and see what you find. And so maybe when you're in school and you're with people like the same age as you, you're kind of waking up together in ways because you're discovering together. And then you leave school and you're like in this world full of people and friends that are all different ages, and so you're all awake at different times and different things. And some people are awake in music, and some people are awake in writing, and some people are awake in cooking, and some people are awake in working out. And it's all just whatever comes natural to you. What do you want to explore awake? And when you wake up to something, I think it's like learning something, so if I want to learn the piano, waking up to the piano would be me practicing every day, and that's gonna be hard, like it is when with a baby. The baby is waking up to the world, so he's sleeping like every 2 hours, waking up to every 2 hours, waking up, and then eventually can be awake for the whole day. That's like waking up to the piano. It's like I've got to practice over and over again, and it's hard work. Learning anything is hard work, but I do think learning is the journey to waking up in whatever world that is and whatever thing that is. And so I just really love this concept, this idea of not everyone's awake when we are, and we get to choose to become awake to things that we're not awake to, and learn and see and explore as we see other people doing things, and as we find our interests, and as we explore this world. And even like fantasy books or books that are like made up, I find that really hard. Like, I'm really into self-help books, and I don't understand yet, I can't get it yet, but I'm working really hard to be able to read fantasy books one day, and books that are just like fiction. But growing up, I just wasn't a reader. I didn't read, and so now I'm like 3-4 years in, and I've started with self-help books, and now I've just started reading my very first fiction book. It's called The Midnight Library. And what's cool is I didn't realize there's almost like a self-help version but fiction. And so I was like, okay. I honestly thought this book was going to be just little snippets of different stories, like a midnight library, like a library of different books. But really, it's like this gorgeous, gorgeous journey of this person's life, and how she basically kind of starts to wake up to her own life, because she is exploring, like, she's living a life of regrets. Like, she's very negative, very much like, oh, I regret not doing this, I regret not doing that, and she's just like at home with her cat, and then her cat dies, and she's goes on this journey of like kind of wanting to die, and she's just like so over life. And then she goes to this like in between place where it's like this midnight library, and her old librarian teacher comes to her and tells her that between life and death there's a book of libraries. There's a library of books, and all of them are an option of life for you, and you can choose any of them. And so she goes on this gorgeous journey of kind of like navigating her regrets, and kind of diving into like, well, what would have it been like if I had married that person, or what would have it been like if I went to a different country with my friend after school. And she kind of is able to explore those worlds a bit, and she finds that she doesn't really like them. And I'm not all the way through the book yet, but what's really beautiful is in one of the lives, basically in her regretful life that she is living, her cat dies, and then she goes to explore a different world, hoping that her cat would be alive, and that she would explore, like, I want to be in a world where I kept my cat indoors. And so she does that, and she's looking for her cat, and she finds that the cat has died. And then she comes back to the library all confused, like, why did you let me go to this life? Because why couldn't you just tell me that my cat was going to die? But in that particular storyline, she found out that her cat had a particular disease that would make the cat die young. And so because she was able to learn that, she was able to go back to her book of regrets and go to the last page and realize that that regret had gone away, because she had regretted being a terrible cat parent. But when she had come to know that her cat was had like a problem, had a thing that that was out of her control, she realized that she could just be she was the best cat mom, and she was incredible at loving her cat and giving her cat a home and a warm space, and that regret disappeared. And so it's just like this gorgeous journey she's going on, basically, and I'm so in it. Like, I want to read it every day. And so this is my first taste almost of fiction, and so I'm very excited to slowly work my way up to, you know, really made up worlds that have nothing to do with self-help, and that are all just beautifully written and interwoven into adventure and exploration. And I think, you know, through all things you can always find something beautiful and helpful in it. But yeah, trying to find your pathway to the things that you want to wake up to. And there's sometimes some are easy and natural, and some are a little bit harder and a little bit more like, okay, I'm choosing this, I want to learn this. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful life that we get to live, because we get to choose to wake up every single day. You know, we literally go to sleep and we wake up, and we choose to wake up every day and have a gorgeous day and discover and unravel what a day looks like. And then we do it again, and we wake up, we keep choosing it. It is gorgeous. And so what an opportunity to be awake, what an opportunity to live life the way that you want to, the way that's authentic and true to you. I love that. Okay, let's do a poem meditation. Okay, let's go. Not everyone is awake when we are. Let's breathe. Not everyone is awake when we are. Now, as you go throughout your day, I want you to think about this poem. and what it might mean to you. Okay, bye.